Assalamu alaikum dear students and welcome back. We are in week 13 and today we will talk about how to write a critical review. Now the purpose of the critical review is to review and critically evaluate an article, because in your research work you have to review a lot of material, you have to read a lot of books, a lot of research articles, different journal articles, different book chapters, magazines, blogs, different reports, different scientific reports, lab reports. So before you include them as a reference in your study, you need to evaluate them. You need to evaluate them critically. Now, by the end of this lecture, in the next class, where we will have discussions, I will share a research paper on the recent advances in the different areas of computer science or information technology. So each student will be provided a scientific research paper, and then you will be expected, at the defined dates, to submit a report. So that is basically an assignment that I'm going to give you in the next class. You will have to submit a report of 4 to 5 pages, in Time New Romans 12 font. It should be double spaced and it should be according to the criteria that is explained in this presentation. So today I'm going to teach you, and in the next class I'm going to give you an assignment. So you will have to then present about the review in 5 to 8 minutes, and you will have to answer the questions of the audience as well. So instead of 5 to 8, we can even make it 3 to 5. Okay, that we will decide in the next class. But you should be prepared for this, that after after attending this lecture, you should be ready for the presentations. Now, what is meant by critical? To be critical, it means that you are required to ask questions about the ideas and the information that is presented in the text. Whenever you are reading in the text, so whatever the ideas and whatever the information is presented in the text, asking questions about that it means that you are being critical. And if by critical, it means to comment thoughtfully by engaging in a process of evaluating or making judgments about the validity or the relevance of the text to your research or field of study. Sometimes the information may be true, but it may not be relevant to your study, and sometimes the information may not be true. So you don't have to blindly accept anything that is written on the paper as true. Okay, so if you can ask questions about the information, about the ideas, if you can comment thoughtfully by engaging in the process of evaluating the text, or if you can make judgments about the validity or the relevance of the text, so this means that you are being critical, right? And being critical, it means to use the information to understand the topic from different perspectives and in relation to relevant theoretical frameworks in the field. So the being critical does not mean only in terms of reading the text, but whatever the information that you are taking from a research paper or a book, if you can use that information to understand the topic, your own topic, from different perspectives and in relation to the relevant theoretical frameworks in the field, so this means that you are being critical. And being critical means being able to ask the right questions and make links with the previous information. And being critical means to develop a position and an argument to support it, right? Now, what is meant by evaluation? We have been using the word evaluation time and again. Evaluation is basically the process that encourages you to show an understanding of the text content by analyzing the purpose and the structure of the text. Now, evaluation means that whenever you are reading the text content, if you can analyze the purpose, like why this text is being created, and the structure of the text. So this means that understanding two things about the text: the purpose of the text and the structure of the text. If you understand the purpose of the text and the structure of the text, so this means that you have basically evaluated the text. And evaluation is the process that allows you to assess means to measure, to evaluate, to assess and make judgments about its appropriateness. according to various academic criteria. So if you can check that whether the text is appropriate for according to different academic criteria or not, so again it means that you are basically evaluating the text, right? Now, what is meant by analysis? We talked about being critical, we talked about what is evaluation. So let's talk about what is the meaning of analysis. So analysis means to approach or to study a topic analytically. When we say that analysis, so it is basically to approach a topic analytically. Okay. Now, when you approach a topic analytically, you basically what you do is that you examine carefully the content. So this means that the careful examination of content is there in analysis, and the content, the issues that are there, and the structure. And how do you do that? By separating them into the different component parts and explaining how they interrelate. So what you do is that, for example, there is a wall. When you disintegrate all of the bricks apart, you lay them down in the form of the bricks, and then you see how what these bricks are in their individual capacity, and then how they're linked together. You are basically doing the analysis. And to approach a text topic analytically is to be able to summarize, in essence, to express the main points of an idea or topic in fewer words and without including examples or details. So if you can summarize the text, you can express the main points of an idea or topic in fewer words without including examples or details. So this means that you are doing the analysis. Now, whenever you are reading the scientific journals, so you should be knowing that how you should be basically doing that. So when you are reading the scientific journals, you need to skim the articles. Instead of reading the whole article, you should skim that. You can just read the abstracts. You can look for the big picture, the jot questions, and you can then find more information about that in the books. And whenever you are reading the scientific journals, you need to reread them carefully. And while you reread, you should be focusing on the materials and the methods and the results. You should be reading them several times, and then you should be asking certain questions as well. And you need to distill and describe. Okay, you need to distill the data to scientific essence, and you need to describe that in your own words. And then finally you can write your own draft, okay, that you can use as a reference, right? Okay, now what is the criteria for evaluating the academic text? First of all, you need to evaluate the writing and the structure of the article, that what is the style and what is the expression that is used by the author. And you need to evaluate the argumentation and the use of evidence, what kind of evidence is used by the researcher, and how the argumentation is done. You need to evaluate the methodology, you need to check its relevance, and you need to check the significance and how it is contributing something new to its field. So when you look at these aspects of a research paper, so this you are basically doing the evaluation. Now these are the questions that you should consider whenever you are doing the evaluation. First question that you should be asking is that what type is the study, whether it is the theoretical article, it is report on an experiment, or it is a review of the research. And then what is the problem or what is the aim of the study. Okay, you need to discuss the extent the aim has been achieved. Sometimes the research papers they talk about the aim, and then they are unable to achieve that aim through their work. So you need to critically evaluate this as well. What is the main problem, and you need to explain, you need to talk about the extent to which the aim has been achieved, and how the argument is logical, how it is supported, and how the argument is further supporting the hypothesis, because you have a hypothesis, and for that hypothesis you bring the argument, and then you bring the logical supporting details to strengthen this argument. So this is how it works in the research process. Now then you need to ask this question, that does the research seem objective, or it is the writer is being somewhere the writer is being personal or biased. So you need to consider the methodology that is used by the author as well. And then you need to check that how it is relevant in the evidence. How relevant is the evidence that is provided by the author? Is it relevant or not? Is it valid or not? Is it accurate or not? And what type of evidence is used? Okay, And then what conclusions are drawn by the experimenter on the basis of the findings. Sometimes the researchers, they draw conclusions which are not aligned with the findings, so you need to check this as well. And you need to check this, that do you consider that these are justified by the results, or has the experimenter made unjustifiable conclusions. So this is something very important that you need to check. As far as the structure of a critical review is concerned, which basically you have to do as well. First of all, you need to write the introduction, that is generally of 1 paragraph, where you need to mention the title, the author, the overview, the aim and the aim of the doing that review, and you have to identify the aim argument as well. Then you need to write the summary, okay, summary of that paper that you are reviewing, and it should not be it should be no longer than the half of the review, okay, summary. Because summary it's basically the main points and the arguments that are presented in the article, they should be part of the summary. And you need to note down that in your summary you need to comment critically on the text, and from the text you need to include the discussion of the points that were raised. You need to discuss the points that were raised by the researcher. You need to do the questioning of on the arguments. You need to express and consider the agreement or the disagreement, whether you agree with the author or disagree. You need to express this, and you need to make positive or negative judgments on the author's ideas, the methods used by the author, the arguments, the expressions, the organization, etc. So you need to make the positive or the negative judgments on that as well. As far as the conclusion or the discussion of portion of your review paper is concerned, in no longer than a short paragraph, it should be in the form of a short paragraph, and in that you need to ask these questions, that what conclusions are drawn by the experimenter on the basis of the findings, and do you consider that these are justified by the results, or has the experimenter drawn unjustifiable conclusions. So these are the areas that you need to mention in your review paper. And you always be sure to distinguish your thoughts from the author's words, so you don't have to mingle your point of view with the author's point of view. So these are further other references that you can explore in order to study how to write a review paper in detail. And in next class I will be bringing some articles for you that I'll distribute among you, or maybe I'll share the links with you. You have to then write the review papers on that. If you have any questions or any confusions in your mind, you can leave them in the comment box, and I'll be very happy to answer your questions. Thank you so much for attentively listening to me. See you in the next class. Take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.